Hello and welcome everyone. It's Thursday and it's the summertime, so it's time for our summer wellness series with the iHomeschool Hangouts. If you're joining us new, usually we talk about homeschool topics. So for the summer, we've decided for a new approach. We're going to be talking about everything summer wellness and fitness. It's basically a summer health for our homeschooling families. Today, we're going to tackle the topic of drinking to your health. We're going to discuss creative ways to remind yourself to drink enough water, what we can do to kick soda habits, and other ways to hydrate yourself in a healthy way that's also delicious as well. I'm thrilled to have some guests here with me today, and I'll let them introduce themselves, and we'll talk about where we can find each of our panel members, and then we'll jump right on in and get started. If you're watching us later, if you can't make it to the live event, we're always here at 2 p.m. on Thursdays. If you can't make it to the live event, you can also catch us on YouTube as well. All right, Elizabeth Norton is here with me today. Elizabeth, if you'll introduce yourselves.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Elizabeth Norton. You can find me at Elizabeth Norton on Twitter, or you can join me and my children on our adventures on my blog called Ed Vacation. And I am a co-owner of the Ed Vacation Network, where we do vacation/education field trips that are a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us today, Elizabeth. That reminds me, if you want to go back, if that appeals to you, you also so check out Elizabeth at her Ed Vacation. We also did a hangout a few weeks ago about homeschooling on vacation. So that's a nice kind of dual way to look at vacationing and teaching your kids all at the same time. Marlene Griffith is my production manager, and she's going to chat with us today too. Marlene.
Hey guys, happy to be here this week. I blog at adiligent.heart.com. You can also find me on Twitter at adiligent.heart.com. I blog about faith, family, marriage, kids, a little bit of everything, so I guess it's kind of like a lifestyle blog. I'm excited to be here today and to chat with you ladies about drinking to your health.
All right. Thanks, Marlene. She keeps things running smoothly behind the scenes for me, helps talk me out of my technical issues tree, and helps to make our guests feel more comfortable, too. I'm Diana Kennedy, and when I'm not representing the iHomeschool Network, you can find me at the Kennedy Adventures, where I talk about life with a big family, Catholic homeschooling, and trying to stay fit. So this topic this summer is near and dear to my heart. It's a little bit of a challenge for me after getting back from a new baby. So today, our topic is going to be drinking to your health. We kind of looked at a few different things about nutrition and fitness and thought about a lot of us struggle with hydration. That's a big thing for health and wellness. So we're going to talk about creative ways that we can remind ourselves to drink enough water. Why some of the drinks that we choose are not that healthy for us, and kind of what we can do to alleviate that or kind of work around it. We're also going to be talking about juicing. Elizabeth has a great story to tell about her health journey, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more about that today. Marlene's also going to share some things about some teas that she's used in the past too. So we'll kick it all off. We'll start simple, and we'll talk about water. So it's, I think two of us live in the South. Elizabeth's a New Jersey girl, so she's kind of up east. Marlene and I are Southern ladies, and even though we're always plagued with humidity, we can get dried out pretty quick, especially in the summer. Marlene, I think you've got some things to share about kind of some creative ways that you remind yourself to drink enough water. You want to take it from here?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, my biggest rule of thumb of drinking water is, I learned this years ago, is how much water to drink, because that's always the question. You know, there's typically the rule of thumb of drinking 8 glasses of water a day, but then it always fluctuates. But the best rule of thumb I've learned is half your weight in ounces. That's how much you want to drink in water. And the best way I do it, I actually have it with me here, is one of these little mason jar looking cups. I actually picked this one up at Walmart because I expect it to get broken because I have 3 kids. So I can just pick up a whole bunch of them all the time. But you can find some like really nice larger ones even at Target. But I fill this up probably about 5-6 times a day at least. And it really helps me to kind of like keep track and make sure I drink my water. And I don't feel like it's a strain on me to drink a whole bunch of water, because if I just serve it in a cup, for some reason it gets boring because it's just water. But putting it inside of this cool little cup, I don't know, I guess I'm psyching myself out, but it's worked really good, and it's helped me kind of keep on track with my water intake.
I think that's funny. It's like we're so totally girly that we have to make it look pretty to drink it. I see those sweet little mason jars everywhere. It seems like everybody has them nowadays. And I have not picked one up yet. I'm a clean canteen girl. I have like these stainless. We have like a million of these, and great big ones and little ones for the kids. Clean canteen. It's a stainless steel canteen that we just fill up in the morning, and then I just drink it all day long. I'm blessed that I don't. I know how some people struggle and say I don't like water. I don't like the way it tastes. You know, they don't like the plain water. Our city water here is pretty good, tastes pretty good. Comes out of my, filtered tap out of my refrigerator. So
That
I
is
just
so
fill,
awesome.
I'll just fill mine up in the morning with ice and go. So I don't usually put a whole lot in mine. My thing is just keeping it cold throughout the day. Elizabeth, what about you? Do you put stuff in your water or just kind of drink it plain?
So I actually, I am recovering from a brain injury. It's going to be a long, long journey, and I'll tell you more about that later. But one of the things I have to do is hydration. So I have a bottle, and I put rubber bands on it, and I make sure that I count how many times the bottle has been filled up by taking off the rubber band each time. So every day I start with 3 rubber bands, and that's equivalent to how much I'm supposed to be drinking, and then every time I fill it up, I take one off. And then I make sure that I have drank it 3 times. So I have 3 rubber bands, and so my water dispenser does not look pretty because it's got rubber bands on it. But it's been a journey trying to figure out for me to drink water. I drink only distilled water. I don't drink my tap water. I have well water, and it's fine. And there's certain kind of waters that even bottled waters, I don't like. I'm very much of a water snob, I realize. But distilled water is how I do it, and that is, I fill it up 3 times a day, and I take off my rubber band, and that's my water journey daily.
I'm getting tickled at you saying that you're a water snob. When I was pregnant with Maeve, so 2 pregnancies ago, I became an ice snob. Like the water from my refrigerator to me smelled weird. Nobody else, of course, in the household could tell. They thought I was all crazy. So my poor husband, it was the ice, not the water. I'm sorry, it was the ice from the ice maker smelled off to me. So my husband, bless his heart, went to Sonic and bought me You can buy bags of pellet ice from Sonic. So we would do that, or when I was at work, I would take like a little tiny cooler, like the ones that like fit like a 6-pack, and fill it up with ice on the way home, and brought ice home like that. So I was an ice snob. So I can empathize with you about being a water snob. And I'm glad that you mentioned alleviating symptoms. I want to make sure that I point that out too. A lot of the things, well, for me it was with pregnancy. I would have like pregnancy-induced migraines, as well as heartburn and other belly issues. Drinking enough water really, really, really helped tremendously with that. So if you've got some belly issues, I'm like, how do I say that without sounding crazy on camera? But it can alleviate belly issues. If you're working out, it's super important to replace things, not just water, but electrolytes too. I don't know if Elizabeth does that, puts things in her water or not. I've done like these things called Nun tablets before, or they might be pronounced Noon. I can't remember. But like electrolyte tablets, just like if you're out, especially exercising out in the heat, and you're losing a lot of salt and that kind of thing. So just some FYI. So, Marlene, do we have comments from the event room that I need to bring in before we head on over to talk about juicing?
Actually, not quite yet. Nope, no comments yet.
All right. I'm going to call on Elizabeth and let her tell us a little bit more. I have to remember that I say juicing talks about juice, not other things. Because people always laugh when I say my husband was juicing. So tell us a little bit about what happened to you and how you used juicing to get back on the healthy road. Okay.
Sure. Right after I had my second child, around he was about 9 months, started having some really crazy symptoms, and we couldn't figure out why. And when I stood up, I would pass out, and then we found out my stomach was paralyzed, and my body was really just in poor, poor shape. And I did not know how or what I had done. And we eventually tracked it back to November of 2007. I was playing with my son on one of those bounce houses, and I had flipped, and I evidently had damaged my left part of my my left part of my back of my head, and then my right frontal cortex. And we can trace it back to the day I came home, and I thought, I'm getting too old to be jumping on those things. I'm 27. I can't be a cool mom anymore. I got to lay low. I got sick, and I went to sleep. And we can look back at that day and think, oh, I was not too old. I was really suffering from a concussion. And so we traced it back to that. But it was at one point where I was crawling everywhere because I couldn't even stand up, because what had happened was my blood vessels had actually become paralyzed. So as well, the fifth vertebrae, the vagus nerve that controls your stomach and controls your blood vessels and contracting and constricting, that had completely been damaged. So it was a very, very scary time. It was a dark time for us. We did not know what to do. And my aunt is very much a health nut, and I love her. I love her health nutness about her. And she came and she was like, look, this is what you should do. And she got me juicing, and it did help. However, I had a hard time keeping up with that because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And when you're sick, it's really, really hard. So eventually what my parents did was they helped me get to a place called Hallelujah Acres. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it is a place where you go, and you can either go for 1 week or 2 weeks, and it's a juicing boot camp. That's what I call it. But pretty much you eat raw food the whole entire week. You learn how to juice, you learn a whole bunch of things about your body and how your body's working. And I had known a lot of it because my aunt had taught a lot of it to me, and I'm so thankful for her for starting me on that journey. But we ate vegetarian, we ate vegan. I eliminated all that stuff. It cost a couple around $2,000, so my parents helped me pay for it. But it jump-started my body into healing. And I came home and I told my husband, look, I need to go to the store and get a great juicer, because the juicer I had was going too many repetitions per minute. So when I was pushing down, it was actually getting so hot, it was actually cooking the food. So you need to make sure you have the right juicer. And so he went and got a nice juicer, and he got a veggie mixer. I forget what the name of it is called. We worked a lot, and we created a system, and my husband knows how I came home and I taught my family, and our family is big into juicing, and we know whenever I kind of relapse and I start to go back into one of these things, because it's not something you can't really recover from a brain injury. It's always a journey, and you kind of always have to stay. There's the damage, is kind of permanent. Whenever I have an episode, my husband goes out and gets carrots and gets spinach and stuff like that. And there's tricks that we have done to get our kids involved and kids drinking, and I would love to share that with you guys because there's some really awesome things. But yeah, it's definitely been, that's kind of my journey and my story. Hallelujah Acres, there's about 4 or 5 of them in the U.S., and this is what they're known about. They're a religious organization, and they believe in wellness through this method, and it definitely has helped me. I was a vegetarian for 8 months, and then I realized that I live on a cape, because I live in Cape May, New Jersey, and it was really hard for me being a vegetarian with all this seafood around me. So I stopped being a vegetarian, but it did jumpstart my my health back, and now I can stand up for quite a long time without passing out. I have a condition called POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So yes, and it's Hallelujah Acres is what it's called. the camp I went to. I call it Veggie Boot Camp. That's that's the best way to describe it. I don't know if they would want to be described like that, but that's how I describe it.
As a former cardiology nurse, at least, yeah, she said pot syndrome, and my ears went up. I was like, oh, yeah, I've had people with that before. So at least I was a little bit familiar with it. So tell me then, you don't juice, so you don't juice every day. Is that correct?
I try to, but life gets really, really crazy, and it's hard when you have 3 kids. And I thought that I was done. There was a one night there where it was New Year's, and I didn't think we saw the ball drop, and I just was crying. I didn't think I was going to make it through that year, and I I didn't just make it through that year. I actually got better and through juicing, and I ended up having a baby a couple years later. So, which she is like my little blessing because I had 2 boys, and then I had my girl, and like I don't think I would have been able to do that without juicing. We do juice regularly, but we don't juice daily. It's just too hard to do that. I would love, because we live in such an isolated area, I would love to be able to have like a juicing co-op or something where, look, this week I got all the juice for you, and next week I got all the juice for you. It's a lot of cleanup, a lot of preparation, but we know like the symptoms, and I would say weekly we definitely do.
Wonderful. For those people who've not juiced before, she talks about how it is labor intensive. You think about it, and that's one of the things. My husband juiced. I'm going to say for a couple months, maybe a little longer. He wasn't doing it daily either. He would do a big juice thing kind of in the morning and make like a big pitcher, and then just kind of work on it all day long. Because like Elizabeth mentions, it's labor intensive, and the cleanup really is a hot mess because you've got. So you had to here's all your vegetables, whatever you're using as your base. We get a lot of carrots and apples and what else? I don't know, a bunch of greens. Elizabeth would probably know a bit more than I would because I just kind of watched Brett. So you had to wash and prep all that kind of stuff. Throw it in we have some sort of fancy pants juicer. I think it's a Breville or something. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. You have to get something that's actually going to be able to handle all of this stuff. And then once you're done, you have all this pulp, which I was looking at Brett going, what do we do with this? Like, should we put this in, like, muffins, maybe? I don't, I guess you could, but I don't know what to do with it. So, yeah, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. And like Elizabeth mentioned, yeah, you got a little bunch of little kids running around because that was before Maeve, actually. And so, yeah, you got 3 little ones running around, and you're trying to clean up all this mess. And so it can be a little labor intensive, but we enjoyed it when we did it too. So if you can kind of make it work. I don't have any tips for making that part of it quick and easy. Do you?
So I have a couple. One is to actually, where the pulp goes, to my aunt taught me this trick, to actually put a shopping bag, so it goes right into a shopping bag, and that way you can just go ahead and throw it out. So that way that's one less thing that you have to wash. Another thing that we do is we actually soak it in vinegar after it's done, so that way we're not really scrubbing as much. The soaking seems to help. And then also we drink through a straw. This seems to help my kids because not as much taste. It goes down faster, and straws are fun. Who doesn't like a straw? Aren't you using a straw? You use straw for your water, right? So yeah, see, straws are fun. So we use a straw too, and we do 6-ounce increments because that's what my stomach's able to tolerate, and my kids too, because you can't drink too fast, you can't drink too much. So as far as cleanup, we use the bag and we soak. Yes, it can be very messy. There can be like carrot juice all over. And as far as the pulp, one thing that we do is sometimes if I'm feeling very well when we're juicing, we save the carrot pulp and we make carrot cake out of it. So that's one thing we do.
And we're having a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun talking about this. So I'm trying to think, because I know a little bit later, for those of you guys that are watching over in the event room, I'll have Elizabeth after the fact share her links. That way you guys can go and check things out. And then do you have some favorite recipes to share along with that kind of stuff? I know we talked about kind of getting your kids on the juicing wagon. Mine were never that. I think mine would try it. Mine liked actually juicing, like taking the things, putting it in the juicer, watching it be juiced. That's what they loved to do. They weren't so big on actually drinking it. That was my husband, and then I took a little bit of that too. I kind of just mixed part of his juice with V8. He liked it more sweeter. I liked it more with like a tomato base, which was strained. That's totally different than what we're usually the whole opposite on that one. I have a huge sweet tooth. But for me, the juicing, I wanted it more like, to me, it was vegetable juice. It should taste like vegetables, not sweet. Because the
So,
carrots and apples that makes it sweet. So
yeah.
yeah. What do you like to use?
Okay, so when we start our kids out, we actually don't involve them in the process at all. We're usually like, go to bed, it's time for us to juice. So they don't know what's going into it. So that's one of our tricks. One of the ways that we kind of ease them into it, and How to the Acres calls it, the place in Plant City, Florida that I visited. I love them. They're an elderly couple, and the man has MS, and he has MS with, helps his MS with juicing. But the one thing they said is Shrek pudding, and we call it Shrek juice, but we actually serve it for dessert. And what it is, and we Holly Acres, the one I went to, does not suggest mixing fruits with veggies. They don't say to do that, but apples are okay. But and I never have ever juiced any tomatoes, so that's new to me. But one thing we do is do pineapple with a whole bunch of spinach. And if you call it something like Shrek juice, or what was the other name we came up with? Kermit juice or something. It was kind of like an intro for their taste buds. And then we would lessen the pineapple each time. And then before they knew it, they were just drinking a green drink. And but we do, for dessert sometimes, we have Shrek pudding for dessert, and the kids love it. They think it's wonderful, and we think it's wonderful too. Like, we've eliminated the sugar cereals out of our cabinets. We don't do any of that stuff, so my kids don't know any differently. And I think that's one of the things, is if we tone their taste buds to acquire these tastes, and they become normal for them, then those kind of things that are naturally sweet, like a pineapple with spinach in it, is really like something that is a treat, and we can enjoy together. And and my husband and I are like, ha 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 ha. And we've done this a couple times. We also did it with we made tacos, but we made them meatless, and we would crush up walnuts. We'd soak walnuts up, and then we put taco seasoning on the walnuts. My kids never even knew it wasn't meat. They had no clue they were eating walnuts. No clue. So, and it looked like ground beef too. So that has nothing to do with juicing. I'm getting off the topic. But, that's the whole thing. Like, it's okay to, like, tone your kids' taste buds, and that's how we kind of introduce them to the, to our kids. And if we need, one of our kids is being sick, and we feel like this is what you need to drink right now, they will drink it because that's what they know to do. That's how they know how to handle it. But at first, it is very much of an adjustment. My husband, I wish he would juice more, but yes, it's very much just part of our lifestyle now.
Well, I totally agree with you on, training your kids' taste bud. That's basically what you're doing. And I'm a firm believer. I would see, okay, kids come into the ER sick with belly issues, constipation, etc., and a little bit talking to the parents, and you figure out, this kid's diet is horrible. And I've talked to moms before about, hey, they need more fruits and vegetables, da 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 da. They need more water. They don't need Cokes and loads of milk and whatever. And I had a mom say, well, he just won't eat that. And me, I kind of grew up, and I bet Elizabeth's close to my age. Marlene's a little younger. I bet you do too. You did too on this one. What you ate what was in the house. I mean, you weren't allowed to. Mom was not a short order cook. I mean, you weren't. That wasn't how it worked. You ate what was for dinner, and you liked it. And if you didn't, then you needed to go to the kitchen and find something on your own. So my point behind that was, if you don't have the junk and just nutritional nothing in your house, then they're not going to eat it. If your cabinets are filled with good grains, if your refrigerator's filled with, fruits and vegetables and juices and water and that sort of thing, they're going to model your behavior. If you're eating terribly, guess what? Your kids aren't going to just like suddenly want to go out in the garden and grab a tomato. I mean, they're going to watch what you're doing and they're going to follow your lead. So that's why I think it's important for us, especially as moms, to take care of ourselves because they're going to learn from us. So yeah, you present it to them, and I read somewhere, you may have seen this too. Um, you have to present things to kids probably two, three, four, five, six times before they will actually even consider it. So we do a lot of that, just like giving them a little bit of whatever, reintroduce it later, that sort of thing. My kids are a little like the early elementary age is a little rough for me. Toddlers, I mean, like maybe it's anything you put in front of her. So she would drink, whatever too. So it's a little bit more of a challenge when you're a little bit older. But I love hearing these stories from you.
It's definitely, and I'm not just talking about kids as well. I know this focuses on my eyes all of a sudden twitching. I'm sorry. I need to juice more. Maybe that will help me eye twitching. You never know. When I did that for the week, let me just say this is one thing. It did prove to me that it was actually doing something to my body, is that I never wore earrings. I actually am wearing them saying it, but if you know me, I never wear them. And I hadn't worn them in like months because I was feeling terrible. I mean, I'm not going to go and get dressed up when I was feeling terrible. It was just a miracle. I got on the plane and got off the plane to this place. And one thing that happened over that week is my earring holes closed up. So my body was healing, and that was like my physical thing, where a lot of my symptoms were internal. Like I kind of have an invisible illness where if you look at me, I look totally normal. No one would know that I had a brain injury. It's not like I have a huge scar like across my brain from it being open because it was a closed one, and like it's nothing like that. You can only see it if you look at like MRI and you see like half my brain's lower than the right half, like so. But like those kind of things that I was saying with the kids is a good way for moms to introduce it to themselves. If you think that juicing is not obtainable and you cannot do it, do the Shrek juice yourself. Because look, if it works for my kids, and I like it, and I have people come over, and even other people's kids come over, and they like it, then I think it's not scary. I promise. If you take like baby steps, it's just spinach and it's a pineapple. And you just cut the pineapple and you just throw the spinach in and you drink it, or you can even eat it with a spoon if you want, like whatever floats your boat. But if we can get kids to do it this way, you can take care of yourself as a mom and it keeps you going. And there's so much good stuff in spinach. Popeye was for real. I really realized the power that spinach has, magnesium and all that good stuff. So it's just one of those things I just wanted to say, we are taking care of ourselves, and that's what kind of this is about. And I went on this tangent about kids, but that's where I was kind of coming back at. If the kids can do it, so can a mom, like that kind of thing.
I totally agree. I'm laughing because she gets so passionate. I love this. This is what I love this. I wanted to throw out too. If you're a chicken about juice, or if you want to take things on the go, I don't know if Elizabeth used these or not. I used to drink a lot, and they kind of do have a lot of sugar in them, but maybe that might not be too bad a thing. Odwalla and Bolthouse Farms, they have like those juice smoothies. You can find those in like the refrigerated section. They're usually like with the health food stuff. So you could try some of those.
Like naked juice?
Yes.
Naked juice?
Yes, like that kind of stuff. We've tried those before. I think that's a nice way to baby step into it too, I think, because that at least gets you kind of thinking a little bit outside the box as far as, don't grab a soda, grab a naked juice. I'm sure that's, like I said, they do have sugar in them, but that's a lot better than drinking a soda or a diet soda, that sort of thing. And it's a nice little segue, and it's good too, like taking things on the run, because I don't know, even if you juice and if you make it a habit at home, I don't know that it's not necessarily that portable. Does that make sense?
No. If you've ever seen the movie Fat and Nearly Dead, it's about a documentary about an Australian businessman that actually came to the U.S. and he went and drove and he would juice from the back of the car. If you want to learn how to do that and kind of take it on the go, because we travel school, so we have taken some of those methods and we do have some of those things. And I should probably create a blog post about how we do that. But you know, it is very possible because he did it for 60 days. He traveled and he juiced and he got other people to juice and he changed lives in the U.S. And it's a great documentary if you've seen it. I forget what the actual name is. I don't remember. Fat and Nearly Dead. Can't remember the name.
We'll have to look it up and see if we can find it and then pop a link over in the event panel. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I know Marlene's got some teas to talk about, and then we'll hit a little bit on trying to kick the soda habit. First off, Marlene, are there questions in the event room, or and she says fat, sick, and nearly dead. That's the movie that Elizabeth's talking about.
Yeah, I Googled it real quick.
You're a better Googler than me, because I was like, what? Fat, sick, nearly, whatever.
I Google.
It's actually free on Amazon Prime right now. So if anyone wants to watch it, you can watch it if you have Amazon Prime.
Awesome.
So we don't have any comments in the event room. We did have someone mention, because we were talking about ice and water earlier, she did say, and I didn't know this, so I'm going to mention it out loud in case other people don't know it. Sonic, you know how they have like really cool ice? They sell their bags. They sell bags of ice there, and she said it's only $2.25. I thought that was pretty cool. So just wanted to say that.
You don't. The pellet ice, it's a little bit of an addiction for people if you've never had it. It's like that's like the tiny little cubelets of ice that's great for crunching. So let me get all the dentist people that are going to come yell at me now, because I've broken plenty of fillings by chewing ice, especially when I'm pregnant. So yeah, that's the other misnomer for that one. Just kind of be careful. Yeah, chew it at your own risk, because it will break some fillings. But yeah, that's I was very sad when my Sonic went away. That's like up the road from us, because the one that's closest is kind of around town. But yeah, so if you got a Sonic in your neighborhood, go there to get your ice. We love it. All right, why don't you talk to me a little bit about tea, because the tea that I drink isn't necessarily that healthy, because yeah, I'm a chai tea kind of girl, but you know, you do your detox tea. So let me hear about that.
I actually just recently bought it. It's called the Triple Leaf Tea Detox, and it says it's cleansing and revitalizing. So I've actually been drinking it probably for about the past couple of weeks, and just what it does, it literally makes your body feel refreshed. It's not going to cleanse you out when you think of cleansers that way, but it does. For me, it just makes me feel a lot more cleaner inside, to be honest with you, just all over. Like I get really bad allergies, for example. It helps flesh that out for me. I haven't had as many bad allergies, as many head colds. I'm asthmatic, so I'm super prone to those. And this tea has helped me so much. I've also, my other favorite tea, and I've only been drinking these two, is green tea. I love drinking green tea. You can have it cold or warm. I prefer it cold in the morning because it kind of tricks my body into thinking it's somewhat having coffee, because I'm trying to cut back on the coffee a little bit because I put way too much sugar in it. And the milk is not necessarily good, having too much milk, and I can go to town on coffee all day long. So I've been trying to switch to green tea. And if I need to sweeten it up, I just use some honey, but I've actually slowly worked my way out of it. So I'm loving it. And between these two, actually, I just feel a lot more energetic. Haven't gotten as many head colds, and I think it's just awesome. I think everyone should try it out. So the one I use is this one for all of you watching. I just picked mine up at Tom Thumb, so it's called Triple Leaf Tea Detox, but I'm sure they have it at any local supermarket.
I tend to be, it's funny, we laugh. If you open our cabinet at home, the tea might fall out on you because my husband's a huge tea drinker, but not necessarily a little bit of herbal teas, but he's just like, English breakfast tea, Irish breakfast tea, whatever. He spent a semester in London, so he got a full course of tea culture over there, because they drink tea all the time. I don't think they drink much coffee in England, or at least not when he was there. So he's a big tea drinker. I wasn't so much. I'm like Marlene. I'm coffee girl all day long. And like Marlene, I am a fan of my fancy pants creamers that are just milk and sugar. I have a Starbucks app on my phone, and load that up. I'm a big fan of lattes that are made with half and half. Instead of milk, they use half and half. So not only am I getting, I go big or go home. I'm gonna do it up right. So I did a little bit of tea. I got more into tea when I was pregnant, because I felt like I needed to drink something a little bit different than coffee. And like Marlene mentioned, sometimes it's a little bit, you want something more than water, but not a soda. And tea is a little lighter, in my opinion. Like, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not heavy. It just feels different than drinking coffee. I do a lot of herbal tea, and like Starbucks, I could go in and spend a bunch of money in the Tivana store too, and I'm probably mispronouncing. It may be Tivana. I don't know. It's probably I'm probably butchering the name, but it's the store where you go in and there's like millions of teas like on the
Oh,
wall, and they
Tijuana.
do all these.
Yeah.
Yes, it's pretty cool, because I found some tea there that I liked, and they do all these like neat little blends, and I don't know how healthy it is necessarily. I'm not a honey girl like you. The kids all love honey. I'm not a honey fan. I do like the rock sugar instead. But like you talked about, I think it's a little nicer to have control over how much sugar you put in it, and I think once you can sort of like slowly dial it back
Mhm.
until you kind of wean yourself off a little bit more. We're going to actually be talking about that coming up in a hangout later about breaking sugar addiction. So I'm interested in hearing from the girls that are going to be on that panel to kind of find out what worked for them, because I do have a huge sweet tooth, but I don't know. I'm not so certain. I don't know if I'm getting a whole lot of health benefits from tea, but I can say at least I'm not drinking soda, right? So, um, Elizabeth, are you a tea girl? A tea girl or no?
I'm not a tea girl. No, I love coffee. I wish I was a tea girl. My in-laws, when I was dating my husband, every time they would have dinner, they would sit together and they would drink their tea together, and I was like, so cute, But yeah, I'm not a tea girl. I love coffee, and I used to hate it when I was younger, but for some reason, like, I kind of feel like I need my coffee. And but I will tell you one thing. I've been using essential oils, and that's helped me with my sugar, and it's actually helped segue, because I put oil in my water, which I didn't mention before. I use lemon oil in my water. I don't put it in my plastic bottle, though, because lemon is so, it will actually bring out the yuck stuff from your water bottle, but I drink it out of a glass, and that's another way I drink water. But no, but because I've been drinking the oil, I actually have acquired more of a taste to lemon tea or peppermint tea. It's kind of helped me not drink as much coffee. But for a while there, I wasn't drinking any coffee. After I came back from Hallelujah Acres, I cut things out of my body like cold turkey. There was no caffeine, no nothing, and I was doing so great, and it helped repair my body. So I know that when I go start having problems again, it's because it's me doing it to my body. It's not, I didn't fall and hit my head again. I can't blame it on that again. One time I hurt my brain really bad. But anything else, I know now that I am responsible for what I put into my body. I'm responsible for how I'm feeling. I'm responsible for my health. I'm responsible for making sure I'm going to my doctor and getting my checkup and making time for myself. Those things are my responsibility, and I need to make time for them, because the better me I am, the better mom I am. So those are, but yeah, so I am into tea now that I've been putting oil into my water. So if you want to segment into tea away from coffee, that might be a good method too. Kind of seems to be working for me, but I still love my coffee. So
I'm glad you mentioned that too. Well, two things, because like you, drinking tea just like that sounds so That sounds so silly. It looked cool to me because people drink tea, and I'm like, that looks like so much fun, but I didn't like it. So I
I
think
just
sometimes just try different things. Yeah, I love chai tea, and then I tend to like more fruity teas. Like I don't like a girlfriend of mine, Jessica loves like chamomile tea. Ugh, it tastes like soap to me. I don't like that stuff. So
so
just remember, just try different things and see kind of, what you like. If you got one of the Tivanas in your area, they'll have like 4 or sometimes 6 different brews going, and you can just go through and just like sample everything there. And that's how I found one that I absolutely loved. It wasn't a combination that I thought that I would like. And then on the flip side, I tried a few thinking, oh, this is a chai, I'll love it. It was gross, So it just kind of depends on, what your taste buds are and that sort of thing. Let's hit real quick before we wrap up about sodas, because I know that Marlene and I were talking before before we started, and soda kind of is one of my things that I'd love to get rid of, and I'll kind of share a few things of how we at least minimize it a little bit. My husband's not a big soda drinker, which is good because I tend to be the one that drinks that stuff. Um, and when I was pregnant, I didn't drink a lot of soda, and until I changed jobs. And I shared with Marlene that across the hall from where I work is a fountain Coke machine, and I don't know about you guys, but soda just tastes better from a fountain Coke machine. I have no idea what they do to it, but it's totally different than getting it out of a bottle. I don't know what the deal is. So there's a fountain Coke machine. Okay, so there's problem number one. It's across the hall. The convenience factor is luring me. And then we have pellet ice in our department. So there's factor number two. So, I'm toast, right? Thankfully, I just work 2 days a week. So I try to limit it to I drink one, you know, giant Coke while I'm there. I like to say that I'm like drinking soda once a week. So, I try to talk myself. I give myself an out there. So let's talk about I invited my friend Anne from Modern Mrs. Darcy. I wanted her to talk about kicking the diet soda habit because she's got a nice article about that, but she was not able to join us. So let's talk about. Do you have ways do you just eliminate soda cold turkey? Do you switch off to different things? Because I'll share a couple of ideas that have worked for us, but I want to hear from you guys too. You got anything for me, Elizabeth or Marlene?
Do you want me to go first? We do not let soda in our house. My husband was a big soda drinker before we got married, and after we got married, after I said I do and I had him hooked, I was like, no soda, we're not doing that. And so we do not buy bottled soda at the grocery store. We do not buy canned soda. Nope. I'm like that mean mom that you come over and they're like, what's there to drink? And I'm like, there's water, distilled water, and if you want, I can put some lemon oil in it. But no, we don't do it. And even at restaurants, my kids will give me the look because that's considered a treat for them. They will give me the look when the waitress says, and what would you like to drink? They'll look at me and be like, and I'll be like, they'll have water with lemon, please. Occasionally when I just have had one of those days and I'm feeling worn down and weak, I'll be like, okay, he can have a Sprite and he can have a root beer, So, but it's a treat when they do that. So that's the thing. And when we order pizza, we'll have, when we order the pizza, we'll occasionally let a bottle of soda get into the house, but it's kind of like contraband. Like we feel like we need to get it out, like eat the pizza, drink the soda, get it out. We can't have it in here. I do not want that habit forming. I don't want them in my cabinets. I'm like no, we can't, it needs to, as soon as the bottle's done, it needs to be out of the house. Those dispensers for the pets that keep the water going, we actually had to borrow someone else's bottle, because we didn't have any bottles. And if anything happens to that one bottle, we're gonna have to, because I don't even want a bottle in our house. I think it was very much part of my husband's life, and I want to be able to keep him as long as possible. So, no soda for us. I think I just probably became the worst spokesperson for Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I know they won't be pitching me anytime soon, but that's the reality, and that's how we keep it real.
She's cracking me up over there. We do a little bit of the same approach. Marlene, I'll hear from you in just a second too. Do you all do the same thing? Do you just don't have it in the house at all?
Who, us? We
Yeah.
try not to. We try to limit it. Yeah. We actually we'll do it whenever we order pizza, and usually on weekends. If we're gonna have it, we'll bring it in on the weekends, just kind of like a weekend treat. My husband really likes to drink it. I love it, but I don't get it because I love it so much, and the kids like it so much. Like as soon as it comes in the house, that bottle is gone in like a minute, it feels like. And I mean, there's been times my husband will go off and buy one during the week at lunchtime, and then he'll come home and he's like, "Didn't I just buy this?" I'm like, "I've told you, don't buy Coke in this house. We're just gonna drink it." So we try to really limit it, and we're getting better at it. We tried to go cold turkey once, and then we just ended up driving up to the gas station and getting like one of those small little personal Cokes like every day. And we're like, okay, let's not be too dramatic with it, because when we tried to restrict ourselves so hard, it didn't work. So what we did is just whenever we order pizza, which we do that about twice a month, and then occasionally on the weekend, we'll go off and get it. And since we know we have those moments where we allow it to come in, it's actually helped us pull back from drinking it so much. And I think that's like helped a whole lot.
I think that's a great idea. And this goes back to the everything in moderation kind of thing. We do an approach like we don't when we do buy sodas, it's more for drink mixers, and then that's not allowed. The kids don't drink it because it's drinks that they wouldn't be drinking anyway, or flavors I don't like. Like they don't like the standard Coke. They like the more kid version. You know what I'm saying? Like Sprite and orange sodas and that sort of thing. An approach that we took when I was trying to like kind of wean myself off of this stuff. We do juices mixed with club soda. So I'm trying. I need to do more research and see if that's okay. Like basically, is club soda bad for you? I don't know. I don't suppose it is. It's just fizzy water. It's just carbonated water. But that's what we do, because then you get you like you learned with the tea. You don't need a whole lot of honey, just a little bit, and so it's mostly like a club soda kind of deal with a little bit of juice. So we call it fizzy water or fizzy juice, and the kids love it. Maeve, my toddler, is crazy, and she'll drink club soda just straight out of a cup with ice, because that's how she is. She doesn't bother her in the least. So that's kind of how we've done it. But once again, we go back to the portability. It's not that portable like you do. That's kind of like from when we're at home. If I'm out somewhere, I look for Izzy drinks. I hope that they have them, because that's the same. It's essentially the same concept. It's carbonated soda. I mean carbonated water with juice. So I feel like it's at least a little bit of a healthier option. I'm waiting for a nutritionist to chime out on the event panel and tell me that I have some faulty logic going on there. But I think we're going to wrap this up. I have loved, as always, sitting and getting to chat with my friends, and learning some great ideas and great tips to help me manage my family and to help me move down the path of wellness, and bring my family along for the ride. We are going to be here every Thursday this summer, until like mid-August, talking about summer health and fitness, health and wellness. We'll talk about fitness topics. We've got some great things coming up in the future, over the next few weeks. We've got managing eating well from a financial standpoint, like how much does it cost you to eat well, and ways that you can kind of trim your budget with that. We've got getting healthy as a family. That's coming up, I think, later on in July. I believe in 2 weeks we have kicking the sugar addiction. I think we're taking a break for the 4th of July week, if I'm not mistaken. Is that yeah? Good. Marlene's nodding that I'm on track there. So if you circle us IHN on Google Plus, you'll be able to keep up to date with these events. You'll get invited, and then also you can follow us on YouTube, because if you can't make the live event, it will come up over on YouTube once we're finished. I encourage you to follow our panelists. I'm going to click on you guys. You guys wave. Elizabeth Norton. You can find her at edvacation.com, as well as New Jersey Digital Moms and a variety of other things that she's got going on. She's a busy girl. Marlene is part of the iHomeschool network with me, and you can find her at adiligent.heart.com. And I'm Diana Kennedy. You can find me at thekennedyadventures.com or working with the iHomeschool Network. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.